The lecture on Serviceology will start. Today's theme is Service Encounter and Blueprint. Service encounter is a place where a customer and a company, as service provider, meet and where a service is provided. A service blueprint is a diagram that shows the timeline of both the user experience and the actions of the service provider during the service delivery process. Following this, service management will be briefly explained. So, let's get started. Service encounter. A service encounter refers to the interaction that takes place between a customer and a service provider while service is being provided. This interaction is extremely important, as it has a significant impact on the customer's perception of service quality, satisfaction, and overall experience. Because the experience at a service encounter has a major impact on customer satisfaction with that service, it is also known as a moment of truth. To understand the service encounter, let's consider the example of a hotel concierge. The media used in the encounter include conversation, as well as brochures and maps. This is because all of these convey the information that the customer wants. The concierge is a position that requires highly advanced abilities and skills, even among hotel staff. This is because customer requests are diverse and often cannot be met with the hotel's internal resources alone. However, to increase customer satisfaction, the concierge must never say no and must be able to present alternatives quickly. To do this, concierges must be able to skillfully communicate information outside the hotel to customers using words, brochures, etc. Please check out the video example of a service encounter where a customer asks a concierge a question.
Good morning. My meetings were just cancelled, so I find myself with a free afternoon. Do you have a recommendation for a short trip nearby? I'd love some scenic views and, of course, some great local food.
A sudden holiday. How wonderful. I would highly recommend the coastal path just 15 minutes from here. It offers a stunning panoramic view of the Azure Cliffs. Afterward, you must stop at the Fisherman's Shack. They serve a grilled lobster that is famous across the province.
That sounds exactly like what I need. Is it easy to get a taxi back, or should I arrange something?
It's quite easy, but I'll give you my card. If you have any trouble at all, just call me, and I'll have a car sent to pick you up immediately. Enjoy your afternoon.
This scene depicts a customer reading an email from a company, which states, "A customer survey regarding the services we provide." Does the way this email is written, the questions it asks, and the effort put into answering them have a positive impact on the customer? Therefore, this encounter with the email can also be considered a service encounter. Discussion. Encounter. Generally, service encounters take place in stores, call centers, websites, vehicles, planes, ships, cars, etc., equipment, terminals, vending machines, etc., and media, and among these, interactions with employees and the transmission of information from the company are key. What and where is encounter? Interactions with employees. In person, phone, mail, email, line, etc. Information dissemination from the company. Website, email, line, direct mail, flyers, advertisements, digital signage, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, etc. Remark. Generally, to manage service encounters, it is necessary to fully understand the customer's needs and behavior, and to pay careful attention to appropriate customer service, safety and security, comfort, ease of access, etc. Furthermore, continuous improvement of the place where the service is provided is essential. Next, we will explain a service blueprint. A service blueprint is a diagram that visualizes the processes within an organization to optimize how a business delivers user experience, with service components such as people or media, such as physical or digital content. Here, the name blueprint originates from the process of tracing over the original drawing on top of a sheet of paper to make a copy, which resulted in the image being transferred onto the copy paper in blue ink. Now let's take a closer look at blueprints. Here, the benefits of service blueprint will be shown as follows. Identifying weaknesses. By mapping the internal processes, teams can identify fail points, where things go wrong, and bottlenecks, where processes slow down, which negatively affect the customer experience. Bridging silos. They allow different departments, e.g., IT, marketing, operations, to see how their specific tasks relate to the overall customer journey, fostering cross-departmental collaboration. Optimizing the employee experience. Blueprints highlight where employees lack the tools or support they need, helping organizations improve the employee side of the service delivery. Strategic resource management. They help leaders understand where resources such as time, money, and personnel are being wasted on redundant processes or where they are most needed. Visualizing complexity. For services that span multiple channels, e.g., a mix of digital and physical interactions, blueprints provide a simplified, objective view of a complex system. Designing new services. They are essential for planning and prototyping new service offerings before they are launched, ensuring that both the customer and internal sides are well defined. This diagram describes the framework of a service blueprint through the example of customer surveys using websites. We will explain each component of this framework one by one. Time affects customer satisfaction. Therefore, the blueprint displays the estimated time for each customer action. Arrows are a key element of service blueprints, as they represent relationships and, more importantly, dependencies between elements. Single arrows indicate linear, one-way interactions. Lines without arrows indicate codependencies. This slide shows 5 core elements for the diagram. Evidence. Tangible objects that customers touch or see, e.g., store building, receipt, confirmation email. Customer journey. The steps, choices, and interactions a customer makes when using a service, e.g., visiting a website or asking a store associate a question. Front stage actions. Actions that take place in direct view of the customer, including human-to-human or human-to-computer interactions. Backstage actions. Actions that support a service but are not visible to the customer, e.g., cooking in the kitchen, arranging delivery. Support processes. Internal processes and systems that support employees in delivering services, e.g., inventory control systems, credit approval processes. This slide shows 3 boundary lines for the diagram. Line of interaction. This line depicts the direct interactions between the customer and the organization. Line of visibility. This line separates all service activities that are visible to the customer from those that are not visible. Everything front stage, which is visible, appears above this line, while everything backstage, which is not visible, appears below this line. Line of internal interaction. This line separates contact employees from those who do not directly support interactions with customers, users. Based on the explanations given so far, please look at this diagram again and try to understand the function and operation of each part. An example of this is a food delivery ordering service via the web. Let's look at the customer journey. It starts with web ordering and ends with bringing the food home. Evidence is shown at the points where these actions occur. Along the way, you can see the role of the front stage actions. It also explains that the backstage actions support the front stage actions. The diagram also shows the support processes to support all of this. Of course, this is not the only correct flow. There may be many different flows. You will have to think about that later. The next example is an izakaya. Izakaya is a type of informal Japanese bar that serves alcoholic drinks and snacks. Watch the following movie, paying attention to where the touch points, service encounters, are shown on YouTube. This YouTube video cannot be played directly, so please see the URL written in the description box. Let's think about the blueprint while watching YouTube. Key points for creating a service blueprint are: when, what is a service encounter, or touch points? Especially, please find out the customer journey and front stage actions. And, what are the front stage actions there? Also, what are the backstage actions that support them? Now, please take a look at YouTube for yourself. In order to protect the copyright and portrait rights of this YouTube video, we will provide a text-only explanation. The numbers represent the playing time. The names of the service encounters that occurred at this time are listed. Please watch and understand what types of encounters occur at each service encounter. By watching this Izakaya video, we will describe the essentials of the blueprint here. Note that the row represents 5 core elements. In Phase 1, discovery means that it's the first time the customer sees or encounters something from physical evidence to the support process. In Phase 2, ordering means that it's something that occurs as an action from physical evidence to the support process when the customer places an order. In Phase 3, fulfillment means that it signifies that the service has been fulfilled. Of course, the contents of this table may change depending on how you provide service. The key is to think of these 5 core elements for each service encounter. This will make it easier to create a blueprint. This slide shows how to create a general blueprint. Step 1. Find support. Don't work in a silo. Identify the key stakeholders across different departments, IT, marketing, operations, who understand the backstage and support parts of the process. Step 2. Define the goal. Are you mapping the entire service or just a specific pain point, e.g., the returns process? Identify the primary actor, the customer. Define the scenario, e.g., customer wants to upgrade their subscription. Step 3. Gather research. Don't guess. Use customer interviews to map the customer actions. Employee shadowing to understand backstage and support realities. Step 4. Map the blueprint. Start with the customer actions, the spine of the map. Once those are set, draw vertical lines down to see what front stage, backstage, and support actions are required to make that specific customer step happen. Step 5. Refine and share. Review the map for pain points, redundant steps or long wait times. Use the blueprint as a living document to align your team on where the service needs improvement. Discussion. Service blueprint helps companies see the big picture of how services are implemented by their organizations and consumed by their customers. It also helps identify problems and optimize complex interactions by pinpointing dependencies between employee and customer-facing processes in a single diagram. We should know that ultimately, this helps reduce costs for the organization and improve the experience for customers. Finally, service management is briefly discussed. Service management is a type of management activities that guide the structure of service providing organizations and their operational principles. Simply put, management and control of the service production process. Structure of service management is, first, market segmentation, defining customers, is performed, and an appropriate service concept is created. Next, the service delivery system, service media, and employees are designed and trained, as explained above. Finally, a system for continuous evaluation and improvement is created, using a service blueprint, etc. By integrating the explanations provided so far and effectively applying them, you are already practicing service management. Thank you for watching. This lecture ends here. Please watch for the next lecture. The URL for the next lecture is listed in the description box of the opening lecture, whose URL is in this description box. If you like this lecture, please subscribe to my channel.